Does telemetry help you get faster in sim racing? We're going to find out today. We've got a pro karter, we've got a pro racer now in real life, Sam Dimolo, Nathan Maxim, and myself as well, a sim racer. And we've got the Racelogic connected up on ACC in the new 4 Mustang. We're going to do 2 laps each, so just flying 2 laps. It's going to be recorded by the telemetry. We're then going to go in, analyze it all together, see where we can get time, and then we're going to go out and do 2 more laps each and see if we get faster. Alright, I guess we're saying this all on like stock setup as well, so tyre pressures, etc. are not going to be great, but second lap should be a bit better. Alright, 2 very different laps. Mistakes, a lot of mistakes in both of them, but over the line. 1:27.1 for my second lap, so we'll see. Well, Sam, I think you're next in queue.
Me? Right. Once I got used to it, it felt a bit better. But it's weird. But it'd be interesting data on it.
Yeah.
that's not fastest lap.
So that's good. We've got a spread of, I think, about maybe
So we've done our laps. We're going to have a look at the data now to see what we're doing well, what we can improve on for our next laps. So I believe I am red, Kireth is blue, and Sam is green.
Correct.
So let's have a look at turn 1. So
Yeah.
expand turn 1.
So as we go onto Racelogic, you can see here, this is your speed, this is your throttle trace, and this is your braking trace. So we're zooming on for Paddock Hill Bend.
I'm really interested to see this. Yes, this is going to be the whole braking phase.
That's the braking and getting back on the throttle.
Okay, so who's come off the throttle first?
So I've bottled it first by quite a distance. That's where I am. So if you look,
You might maybe the narrowest as well.
yeah, it looks like I turn in the earliest. The
Can we
blue.
get steering? Or is it too much?
You can actually, if I click a steering angle here. So this is now, this one I guess is...
Yeah. Well, the others say speed throttle.
So we
Yeah.
can see that Sam let off the throttle the earliest, was on the brake earliest, and he turned earliest as well. So
Yeah.
I think that indicates he took the corner a bit too narrow.
Yeah. So
Turned in.
I've come off the throttle early. I've gone on the brake. Then I've come back off the brake, and then I've gone back on the brake again. And then I've kind of trailed it down, modulated it, and then come off the brake. Basically, I've come back off the brake just in line with the red car, with the red person. Blue, which is Kireth, has gone back on the brake again.
Yeah, I was probably worried about running wide on the
think
exit.
so. So that's there's equated to me. Does this say over on the left?
That's speed at the top.
That's speed. So what's my mouse? So I'd say that's about apex there.
Yeah.
So at apex speed, I am doing 140 kilometers. No, I'm doing 126 kilometers. Nathan's doing 140 kilometers, and Kireth. No, I'm getting the colours mixed up. I'm doing
126, 127 basically, exactly.
Nathan's
Wait,
doing
can you see that?
138, and Kireth's doing 140 at the apex.
Yeah.
So blue, which is Kireth, also has the biggest steering lock on for the longest
That's what I
amount of
find
time.
interesting is Nathan's got the smallest steering block.
Yep, with very little correction in it as well. I've had a massive amount of correction in it.
Yeah.
So I've gone from turning right to a massive left
Yeah.
And do you know why you did that?
because I went in too early.
No, because you slammed the throttle on.
Yeah,
The
so
throttle on, had an oversteer moment. And
Oh, yeah.
correct it.
so that
But you didn't let off the throttle though. You just corrected it. You
Yeah,
didn't let off.
Yeah. So you didn't let off the throttle, but you had.
Yeah, so you can see there where the throttle's all the way full 100%. That's just as I start getting the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you and Nathan are both essentially exactly the same on the entry of the corner.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with that because I never feel confident going to that corner.
Nathan's carrying a little bit more entry speed onto it. You both bleed out to about the same.
But I can tell you what I noticed
Sure.
because I haven't gone on the brake as hard as Nathan. There's just more brake. You're just using more of the brake than I am.
Yeah, so Nathan's gone in a little bit harder than you. You've hit the brake, we'll say that it's about 80%.
Yeah.
Nathan's right up there, 95.
If you click there, it will show.
Although I don't think that's 95
96.
in-game pressure. I think that's just the most of what that's gathered. Because when I pressed the brake, like how hard I was pressing it in the game, it's only about 60% on here.
But 60 on there. Whichever it is, I think that's 97% in game. That's reading
Okay.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nathan's peak is 96.7. Kira's peak is on brake pressure 81. And me back here, we're back here.
You did peak, but then you came off.
On 79%. So I've got a way longer braking phase than both of you. Nathan is hitting it hard, trailing off, and then coming off a lot earlier than us.
Yeah.
Speed wise, here it just shows obviously me braking early is what's ruined me there. So we zoom back out again.
So this is going to be Druids.
Yeah. So we're taking to about there. So blue, that is Kireth. He's on the throttle a lot longer than both me and Nathan here. Mine and Nathan's trace is
Exactly the
relatively
same.
similar. Yeah, we both
Well, in terms of speed.
speed wise, yeah, we both come off the throttle at the same. Our speed both drops about the same amount. I carry a bit more mid mid towards the apex speed, but then Nathan does get on the throttle a lot earlier. So where I've carried more speed into the corner,
I find this graph so interesting.
so where I've carried more speed into the corner than Nathan,
Yeah.
I've not been able to get on the throttle as early, so I'm getting on the throttle about here, whereas Nathan's getting back on the throttle around there. So Nathan's been able to grab the throttle earlier,
And
which
Nathan's
means
throttle is your throttle traces could not be more different.
Yes.
Because Nathan is progressive and you've gone for a Senna star.
I've gone on off type thing. But yeah, our braking points are relatively similar. So we come off throttle. So our braking points here
Yeah.
are very similar. You are a lot later. You are essentially, what's that? These are five. You are braking about 15 metres later than me and Nathan.
And I paid for it because look how much lock I'm paying there on the corner.
Yes, you can see.
Although I don't think you actually really pay for that because you're carrying a lot more speed into the corner.
Mm.
It does get on the
Much more.
throttle way earlier, like full 100% throttle.
It's
way
like
earlier.
it's like you've carried you V'd off the corner.
I've done a V rather than a U.
because you've carried. I mean your exit speed is much closer to mine, whereas your entry speed, you carry a lot more entry speed but lost much less exit speed compared to me. So I think overall you've gained in that corner.
And if you go down here for the steering trace, so Kireth's gone in hotter, and he's really V'd the corner off because you can see by how much he's cranked on the steering. Nathan here is the smoothest through there. As you can see, his line's a lot lower than us. I'm in the middle between you two, and you've really cranked this on here. Braking trace, like we said, me and Nathan near enough identical. Kireth's here. Kireth goes on the brakes for quite a lot longer than us, and he comes down in more of a smoother pattern. Whereas both me and Nathan, I go completely off the brakes and back on it again. So obviously I think I'm bailing out of it somewhere. Whereas Nathan comes down, drops to about 30%, goes back up to 50, and then comes back down again and regulates it.
I think it's quite interesting that Kireth floors the throttle, but then has an oversteer moment, and that's the corrective.
Yeah.
Again, yeah.
Just there.
Whereas I think you can see probably all three different techniques there. I'm quite progressive on the throttle, and I don't really have.
Your steering is just you're winding it. Also,
it's very small adjustments. It's nothing that would really cost me much.
Are you more?
It's not scrubbing speed.
Are you more focusing? Because maybe I'm thinking more. Maybe Sam was saying previous corner. I want to get full throttle because I'm worried about losing speed. Are you more on? I don't want to have to correct anything.
Yeah, I think I just try to keep the car as stable as possible through the corner, and then again keep it stable by being progressive on the throttle.
That's interesting. I think that will really. Is it? I can't remember what that corner is there, but I think it will really.
I don't know any of
this
the
one.
names.
Yeah.
So then we got. Do you want to do next?
Should we skip to that one? Actually, it's probably more interesting.
So it shows that Kireth and Nathan are both pretty much braking at the same point. However, Kireth is overlapping his braking and throttle. So you see, you're hitting the brakes here. Nathan's hitting the brakes there, but Nathan's throttle goes straight down. You're still on the.
I think I'm really uncertain. I'm just sort of like, I'm not very still have a lot of conviction there.
Yeah. So your throttle brake is overlapping for about the first.
We noticed
15%,
that when Nathan was
20%.
braking, we noticed it bang
Very
on it.
sudden.
Yeah, you can see that here.
Yeah. So the overlap for you is up to about 20% where you're both throttle and brake.
There's no benefit to that.
There's no, well, we'll see on lap times. I mean, what was it between you two? 3 turns?
A bit more than that. I think it was about 8. You were about.
No.
Sorry, yeah.
27.1, 26.8. So yeah, 3 turns.
Okay, yeah.
It'd be interesting to see if there's a corner where you're faster. We'll ignore the green line because he's just doing his own little thing over it.
You got very deep.
Not paying any attention to anything.
Yeah.
The trail breaking's quite impressive actually.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. So Nathan's gone on the brakes real hard.
Yeah.
Come down and regulated it.
Sure.
Yeah, but you haven't gone back on the brake heavy. You've gone on to the brake heavy. You've come down. You've stayed at that level, gone down again.
But I did get on the brake again.
That little bump there.
Yeah, which
one after it.
would be
next one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We all, both of us did. I don't know if I'm trying to remember
So
why.
that's at the
I actually lose more speed, but from doing that, still on the speed.
Red. So yeah. So at this point here, your speeds were near enough identical. And then at this point here, they deviate. So yeah, when you both get on the brake, but you brake a bit harder initially. Kireth does actually get on the brake even harder than you, but that's a bit further around. And then you'll see up here, Is your thing going to pick up the maps?
Yeah, this isn't.
So you'll see from here that both your exit speeds will be tracing the same, near enough.
Mm.
So yes, you get on it, but you get on it not as much and for a shorter time, and you both equal out.
I'm just quite interested. Can you go forward by like a couple seconds
Ah,
on the exit?
On the exit,
Because it seems like I've got less.
So if you drag it right,
I've got less speed just
yeah.
before
Sorry,
the
if I
apex.
can drag it again. Yeah.
I've got less speed just before the apex, but it seems like around 33.5 seconds I have a bit more speed, but then Kireth.
no, this one.
Yeah.
So that's on the exit. There's a big old bump, and then you can run the outside curve there. So I'm wondering if it's where you can run the outside curve.
Yeah, I did actually.
You actually, for the first time, had. Well, this is on the straight now. As well, we still got steering block, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're still at one, and you've got a few little corrections. I don't know if there might be bumps, and those bumps might correlate to.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll skip along to the next.
It was very forgiving on the throttle, from what I remember. That's why I was able to just floor it out of that corner.
Without again having to.
Yeah.
So this is massively different between Kireth and Nathan. I'm just here for a jolly. Ignore about me. I'm just here for a jolly. So
Corner really well though.
I thought I did,
You
but
can-
then you would look at other stuff.
You
and-
carried more speed into it, and you carried more.
Can you line this back up again?
What do you want?
So we're all at the same point.
Okay. Maybe it's position. Is it this one here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we're now. So it's position.
Yeah.
Is
So
that?
it puts us all in the same place. Because a second ago, my
Yeah.
green dot was further back than yours.
Yeah.
So once again, me here off the throttle early compared to Kireth, who's a lot closer to Nathan, and then Nathan's on the throttle a lot later than everyone else. Brake wise, again, I have very little overlap between the two. Kireth has little overlap, and Nathan has very little overlap. So
Yeah.
we're all doing it on off at the same time. We're not too pedaling.
To me, that's really interesting because I always think of this corner as one where you sort of tease the car in,
You kind of want to trail into it.
but I never think of it as one where you're 100% brake, but you're 100% brake, which
Yeah,
makes sense obviously
He's
because
hit, Nathan's hit max brake there.
and you want to be quick, get that speed, and then
Yeah.
turn in. But it's, psychologically, I think of this one as one I'm just trying to like tip it in, and then I often end up in a bit of a mess. I'm not committed.
But then something interesting is you've not braked as hard, but then you're having a massive. You're putting on a lot more steering lock than both myself and Nathan here.
I think because I would guess because I haven't slowed the car down enough. I'm braking, I'm running wide. I'm having to turn the more to go deeper.
That's my because you actually have a snatcher correction here, and so is Nathan further around the corner.
But
Yeah.
you've had that snatch of correction because you've tried to floor it.
As I floor it, yeah, just there.
As you get on the
Yeah.
throttle.
Yeah, so as he's getting on the throttle, because there's a crest there.
Because probably I have a bit because when I floor it, I have more lock, so the car's more. So I'm having to correct it because otherwise the car's going to go.
Yeah. Me, I've gone off the throttle, on the throttle, off the throttle, on the throttle, off the throttle, on the throttle. Ignore that.
I find it really interesting that Nathan's later on the throttle.
He is. So you've carried a lot less minimum speed than both. I mean, both mine and Nathan's from here onwards, our speed wise is the same. So I lose all my time on the entry compared to both you two. Both mine and Nathan's very similar here. So if we go from this point here onwards, Nathan's got on the throttle earlier, but it's the same amount as me. We're both on the same amount of throttle. And then so he's got on the throttle and then had to back off a little bit mid corner, just before mid corner really. And then to get back on it again, Nathan is super late compared to you, Kireth, and I'm even later than Nathan. But looking up here, it hasn't made a difference for mine and Nathan's. Well, realistically, all three of us get the exact same exit, looking at speed wise.
Yeah, but I often feel like that when I look at the Racelogic data in GT3. So there's so much power in the car that on the exit it sort of equalises, and it's really, like a kart, you'd be screwed there. That's kind of my hunch.
What's happened for you, Kireth, is at the 920 mark on the position index.
Yeah.
You've tried to get on the power. I don't know if you're trying to throttle steer it round.
Yeah, I mean, looking at these
and it
crosses
hasn't
here,
worked.
I would agree with Nathan.
That's a weird one because I'm still. Oh no, I'll come off the
I
brakes.
think you've tried to throttle steer it round and it hasn't worked, so you've tried to compensate with that for more steering lock.
So basically, what I've done is I've turned it in, tried to get the back end going with the throttle. I've just understeered,
Yeah.
And I'm just understeering now.
You've got more throttle lock. But then you've
A little bit of brake.
I think you've tried again after that let off at 9:30 mark. You've tried again, and this throttle steering has actually worked.
Yeah. Now I need to control
But because you've been a bit aggressive on the throttle, yes, it's worked to get the rear round a bit more, but possibly a bit too much, which is why you've had that oversteer moment at the 9:50.
So if I'd just been smoother the first time, so I've lost time. I think I understand it. I've lost time there because I've had 2 stabs at it, which I've had just the first time right.
I think it's a psychological thing. The initial loss was because you were on the brake too much.
Mm-hmm.
You possibly missed your turning point, but it looks like me and Sam has actually turned in earlier than you.
Yep.
So you possibly missed your turning point.
Me and Nathan are starting our turning back here, which you're starting your turning essentially another 10 metres after us.
Mm.
And then you've tried to compensate. You thought, oh, you recognise you've missed your turning point, so you tried to compensate with throttle steer and steering lock.
Mm.
You're doing all that subconsciously. It's mad.
It's mad to like. It's almost like freezing time. It is freezing time. It's like if you were just out in the street and froze time.
I bet you can recall that exact moment now in your head.
Yeah, now it makes sense. But I'm trying to think what I'm going to do next time, which is I've got enough time down the straight to compose myself and think what I want to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do I want to do? I want to be sharp on the brake initially. Off the brake, the car's balance and turn in and be progressive through the corner. I don't want to be going too deep and then having to use the back end. I just want to kind of push it progressively through the corner, I think.
So on to the next corner, once again, ignore me.
Oh, do you want to go back a bit?
We're sort of on the apex circle.
Yes, I need to go back a smidge there. That's where I need to be.
Yeah.
So me and Nate. Oh, where have we gone?
Can I use okay.
So once again, me and Nathan are braking at the same point. I've come off, so there's a bigger transition between me coming off throttle, going on brake, than Nathan. Nathan's instant.
Yeah.
He's off one, he's straight on the other.
Yeah.
Nathan and you are very similar on braking pressure, but Nathan is solid. Like literally from the very start to his peak, he's one thing, whereas you kind of like feather it on a bit, and then I hit a peak and then I let go.
Yeah.
Every time I do my legs not being strong enough, or maybe I should go do some squats. Speed wise, here Nathan is going in at the slowest out of the 3 of us. So here he enters the corner at the highest speed, and actually underneath the run-in before you start turning, he's done all the braking so much heavier than us. He's now carrying essentially 7 kilometers an hour slower than you, Kireth, through that corner.
Because Kireth's been more progressive on the brake, he's carried more speed into the corner.
Yep. But then
whereas I've lost all my speed.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a sector here where Kireth's made back up on you, Nathan, because he's back in the throttle a lot. So he's on the brake later, and he's on the throttle.
Which I find interesting because you're steering, Nathan. You've reverted back to 0 degrees much quicker.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then he does have a correction here.
Yeah, I think that's because, I mean, we've got the same technique on the throttle. I just seem to have had a moment.
Yeah, it's kind of like you've got on the throttle, thought you can get on the throttle there, and had to back out of it. But you haven't tried to correct it with the brake though. You've just tried to do it with the throttle, got back out of it, and then probably by the time the car's
you can see that results in a big speed difference.
Yeah.
That bit there.
And then what other corners do you want?
Although I do have the highest exit speed. After that,
don't know if I can get that.
I'll go forward a little bit.
You're giving me too much credit here to be able to do this. So entry.
You do, yeah. There's an interesting point.
Yeah. So here, this is killing me. So this bit here, you are 4 kilometers an hour faster than Kireth. Me and Kireth near enough is that.
Yeah, that's quite a lot, I think.
With 4K, so that's 1 and a bit miles an hour ish.
I don't know where that would have come from though, because.
But that would be from Kireth being on the brake for a longer time.
I've also had a longer moment of, because I think my steering is in the wrong place there.
Yeah, so you're
in the right place.
You're still turning in the same direction.
I think Kireth's carried too much speed into the corner, and he's still braking quite late into the corner, whereas my braking is done.
Yeah. Which I would say is what you want to do in karting. You want to get all your braking done, point for the apex, and then disappear.
Yeah.
So Kireth's is more... Oh, sorry, Kireth. Nathan's is more like a karting technique. He's done all his braking, he's got it all sorted, settled. Now all he needs to do is concentrate on getting on the power.
Yeah.
Whereas you're trying to merge a bit of power, a bit of brake, a bit of extra steering lock, stuff like that.
I don't know why. Maybe something to do with the curbs. Maybe why I had a moment, or
Well, we're all going to be so wide on the exit there that if you're just a little bit too wide, you're going to be on grass and whatever.
yeah.
So I think the next one I'd like to see is that one. Actually, the left one there, because
So there's that.
Or Kireth, maybe you got on the curve and lost a bit of speed on this.
I think I did.
Because that technique, you should have been faster. I think.
Yeah, I think if I just started it a bit earlier actually in the corner, maybe it would have made it work.
So this is now this left-hander down here, so the second last corner.
'Cause I imagine that. Oh, I don't know. If you click it, yeah. So that's all of us sort of running a bit wide on that.
Very
exit.
wide.
That's on the curve.
Yeah.
So that's
I had a moment on the curve.
that's Nathan having his moment a lot earlier than both me and you. So he's had a bigger moment because he's put a lot more lock on than both of us. I ruined this corner here. We all know that I ruined it. So my entry speed is a lot slower. So my entry speed's pointless. Looking at my speed's pointless to about this point here. So coming into a corner, essentially, you two break at the exact same point. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the front there. Kireth breaks a smidge earlier than Nathan, but when Nathan gets in the brake, a little bit later, he's straight up to 100%.
Again, Nathan gets full brake before me and also gets off throttle before me, which is interesting. Because you think getting off throttle is quite easy.
Yeah.
But Nathan's actually quicker than me getting off throttle.
He is. You're hitting 90% brake, and I'm hitting, I'd say that's about 80.
Seems to be on the braking like Nathan's again more like bang, hit 100% and off.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm more sort of like push and then off like a...
Correct. That's what I would take from this as well. But then Nathan does pick up another brake point right here. So I've come in the slowest, I've braked the least, and I've come off the brake the latest.
It's interesting that happens after the correction on steering.
That is in
You
the
know what I
line.
think that was?
But that Nathan's on entry.
Yeah, I think as I broke, I think the rear started to come out.
But it's more as you it's weird. We'll have to look
Because
at
I've started turning, and there's not much steering angle. But I think because I'm still on the brake, I think the rear started to come out.
Well,
so
what-
I've had to return to centre a little bit.
But also,
Just
if
to
you
correct
look
it.
here, Nathan, that coincides near enough perfectly with you trying to get back on throttle here.
No, I'm not sure that's trying. I think that might just have been like you might have rested. You might have just
It might have rested.
nudged the throttle a little bit.
But it does coincide, if you look at the line, just as the throttle trace goes up, the steering goes up.
Because I think I'm starting to lose the rear, so a bit of throttle would have got
Yeah.
the weight to the rear
Maybe.
again.
Could be. And then Kireth has picked up full throttle. A full. What are we there? We're at 1,350.
And I do.
Whereas Nathan's full throttle at...
So I do have a speed. I do have quite a big speed advantage at that point.
Yes, right here.
Mid corner. Is that mid corner?
Just on the exit.
Just post apex.
Because you were smoothest through that corner on the steering.
But then I have to come off throttle. Like all this bit's
Well,
me coming off.
interestingly-
I think you were smoothest on the brake going in. You were smoothest on the steering, but I think you punched the throttle too early.
Just a little bit too early.
Because interestingly, you get back on the brake a little bit here again.
Yeah, because probably going to run
Because
wide.
at the moment.
So I think if I'd hit the brake at maybe 1,350 instead of if I'd hit the brake. Sorry. If I got on the throttle a bit later, so if I'd allowed the car to rotate a bit more.
I would say.
So if I got on the throttle, maybe I don't know how much that
Yeah.
works out, like a couple of meters later.
So these are in 10 metres, so yeah, I'd say about 3 metres later.
Yeah, so
It's might be able to
three
get
meters
away.
later, more rotation off throttle, then it just would have got a degree or two, whatever,
Yeah.
and then gone. That's really interesting.
And for what it's worth here, just before you have your little correction on the brake here, you're currently carrying nearly 10 k's more than both me and Nathan.
Yeah,
And then you have your little correction.
but I'm heading at more of an angle that's going to go off the road.
Yeah. But you have your little correction, and that brings you. Nathan here gets a way better exit because he
Yeah.
hasn't had this correction here. That brings you in line with little old me.
Yeah.
even with that moment I had a pretty good exit.
Yeah. Well, you can see down here, all three of us had a correction there. But I like mine's like a nice round roller coaster bit. So yeah.
Right. Well,
What to improve
last
on?
one, let's see the last one.
You want to see the last
would be
one?
interesting. Was actually the slowest. Just after the exit.
you never really regained it to the line, actually, as well.
That's because you went a short route. Don't forget you went a short route.
Ah, so your lowest speed, you sacrificing speed
Yeah.
for line. Okay.
You went short route compared to us. So this is the only time in the lap I've actually hit 100% brake. So I've hit 100% brake, but I've hit 100% brake for a long time compared to Nathan hitting it.
Yeah. And then you've had to straight line the steering a little bit, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So you turn it,
But it's interesting that I'm 100% brake and nearly 50%
that's a blip.
throttle.
That'll be a blip.
You reckon?
That'll be a gear blip point.
It's the views.
Oh, okay, yeah. That makes sense. Because they're the
Although it's
same.
quite interesting how I only went down. Was that one gear?
So you've done your gear change in.
Did I even change gear then?
So Kireth's in third. I'm in second. You're in second, Nathan. At this point here, on the entry,
Oh yeah, I don't
you're in third.
You're already in a lower gear.
Me and Kireth are both in fourth.
So you were revving out in third then. Is there an RPM?
Was I?
No, he wasn't revving out.
Was I on the throttle?
Yeah,
before I brought
no.
it. What was I on?
Oh, sorry. Oh, did you downshift at the
So
same time?
Nathan's downshifted as he's braked. Me and you haven't done our downshift till about here.
That's interesting. I feel like I would normally try and downshift as I brake.
Yeah, so look, at this point here,
Yeah,
me and you are still in fourth.
yeah.
Nathan's in third.
That's a very different
Still in third.
rhythm.
And you know what? I think that means I had a shorter braking distance because I had more engine braking.
But you're also on the clutch. You're also momentarily on the clutch, aren't you? Oh, no, there's no clutch for you. These are there, so you don't. Oh,
You see
okay.
how I lose the speed much faster than.
So I'm still in fourth here.
You're just chilling in.
Yeah, I'm just chilling in fourth. But yeah, you lose the speed here, but that's because you brake full 100%. That's why. Which then means you can pick up the throttle a little bit earlier there, which coincides with your little bit here. We know that this here is a gear change, and we would presume that this here is a gear change as well.
That would be my gear change, I think.
Yeah. So you've picked up the throttle again, come on, gone back off it again, because I suspect that's where you then cranked on the extra steering, whereas me and Kireth have run out wide. You've cranked on the extra steering, so you've had to have a little delay on the throttle.
Yeah, I
Just so you
think
can
because I'm preparing to take a tighter line,
Correct,
I'll
yeah.
have to just wait that tiny bit more.
That's what I would say. And then you've had a couple of goes at catching it.
Yeah.
I've had one decent size, and Kireth's had a tiny little one right there. Right on the exit. The exit speed all equals out the same, but me and Kireth actually carry a bit more corner speed, but we know that because we're running out wide.
Yeah.
Whereas Nathan's,
You can see it there.
yeah, Nathan's turning earlier. So realistically for me, I need to just stop being a wuss. Kireth needs to hit the brake harder and sharper,
Yeah.
and Nathan just needs to slow down and give us a chance.
Right. Okay. So that's very interesting. I feel like it's almost like it's so easy. It's not so easy. You still got to interpret it, but like in a freeze frame like this, it becomes simple what you got to do. But to go back now into ACC with like the Mustangs just like screaming and the screens here and like the vibrations, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But I can imagine doing this as a process with this mentality.
yeah, I mean,
Just
we use
seeing
it. We use it in karting. We do all the stuff in karting. Nathan obviously does it in the cars. You've got this in sim racing now.
Yeah.
You can do it in sim racing. And another thing for you, throttle and brake at the same. Come
Yeah.
off the throttle. Come off the throttle as you go on the brake. Don't overlap the both.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not karting.
After what I've learned, can I go faster?
So it was a 26.8, I think. Wow, that was a second improvement.
No.
Oh no. But I definitely feel like I was able to focus like on my braking, like try and brake hard. I hope you enjoyed that. Quite a long video looking at the Racelogic V-Box data in ACC. I found it quite a lot to think about, and I'll probably be thinking about it like from time to time before I do my next sim racing stint, and I'm going to try and really focus on the braking and maybe build those building blocks of racing. But yeah, let us know what you think. If you saw anything in telemetry for us as well, I'd be really appreciated. We'll see you next time.